Why is it so hard for us to accept that there are other ways to win? This is how I've always won is going to be the death of many of our visions.
I'm Patrice Washington, and this is the Redefining Wealth podcast, where authenticity leads to alignment and abundance. Join us each week as we peel back the layers on what wealth truly means and dive into conversations that inspire, connect, and empower you to live your richest life. Get ready to challenge the status quo. It's time to redefine wealth for yourself.
You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast. It's Patrice Washington, and I'm so excited to have you back. If you are brand new to this podcast, here's what you need to know. We believe that wealth is so much more than money and material possessions. We believe in the 12th century definition of wealth, which says it's about the condition of well-being and happiness. And so while, of course, we desire more money, there's nothing wrong with that. We don't make every decision based on money. We look at wealth in a more holistic way, and we follow the 6 pillars of wealth if you want to know more about them. And if you want to know which pillar in particular might be blocking you from the financial success and the vision that you see for yourself, go to patricewashington.com/quiz, take the quick quiz and learn more about the pillars. I promise it'll bless you. Now, this episode is for all of my people who have been applauded for their accomplishments for so long. You've gotten the degrees, you've gotten the promotions, the accolades, you've been the one to hustle and make things happen. And for so long, so many of us have done all those things. And we were told we needed to do those things to succeed. We needed the degrees, we needed the promotions, we needed the endless hustle. On paper, it has looked to everyone else like we have arrived. But when you're radically honest with yourself, do you feel like you have arrived? Many of the women that I serve often believe that sheer ambition is the key to solving all her challenges, because she's the one who has powered through exhaustion and added more to her plate and pushed harder when things fell off. Her solution has always been to do more, to take on another project, to reach for another promotion, to sign up for another certification. Am I at your doorstep yet? Believing that success is just one more accomplishment away. And today, I'm here to simply ask one question. If you've done everything right, why does it still feel wrong? Why does something still feel off? I want to offer you today that you may not be missing ambition. You've had that your whole life for whatever reasons. But what you might be missing is alignment. You might be missing alignment. Let that sink in. Because the reality is success by external standards can still undermine a great vision if it's disconnected from authenticity. I'm going to dig into this more after the affirmation of the week.
This week's affirmation is, my ambition is rooted in my alignment. In this season of my life, I am no longer ambitious for the sake of societal validation. My ambition aligns with my highest values and personal vision, not fleeting titles or possessions. Each day, I choose to pursue goals that resonate with my deepest sense of purpose and integrity. True fulfillment arises from meaningful contribution and authentic connections, not superficial markers of success. There is power in focusing on what genuinely lights my soul on fire, and it ensures that my ambition is fueled by passion, purpose, and most importantly, truth. As I align my drive with my core values, I create a legacy that reflects genuine impact and lasting significance. Declare with me today, my ambition is rooted in my alignment.
Okay, so let's talk about the quiet knowing. Let's talk about the quiet knowing. It's that deep down feeling that something feels off. I find again, that when we have been taught to do all the things that we need to do to succeed, when we are chasing the degrees and the promotions and the endless hustle, on paper, it looks so good to everyone else, but does it feel good in your soul? And instead of clarity, many of the women that I serve find themselves spinning, overwhelmed by this constant buzz of busyness that never leads to fulfillment. They always feel like they're chasing a moving target. And while the achievements look impressive from the outside, on the inside, there is this gnawing emptiness. Because how can we have done all the right things and put in all this effort and still not be brought to the sense of peace and joy that we crave? But here's the thing. At this point, especially when we've been known for certain things, we can't slow down. We're afraid to slow down because stillness might actually expose what we've been avoiding. And that's that there is a clear misalignment between ambition and our authentic truth. The thing is, many of the paths that we find ourselves on in this season, if this is speaking to you, might have been perfect for who you used to be. But your soul is calling you to something new. Your soul is calling you to something more authentic. And I just want you to know that this isn't a failure. We become so afraid of leaving everything behind. You wouldn't be leaving anything behind. You're leveraging who you've been, what you've already done, to give yourself permission to evolve. Because when we don't get in alignment, all we do is undermine the evolution. Like we are born with purpose, on purpose, for purpose, but that purpose is supposed to evolve. Why would it not? With all that you've learned, with all the relationships you have now, with all the resources you've amassed, why would it not evolve? Why would you not evolve? And this is how we end up sabotaging the vision for what we say we want, often without even realizing it. So I need you to hear that this isn't failure. This is evolution. This is what it looks like. So today we're going to talk about how we undermine that evolution, sometimes without even realizing it. We sabotage our own vision for what we say we want. And we'll explore how we do this. And then really, I want to get to how we shift out of it. So if you've ever accomplished something big, achieved something big, which I know you have, something you worked so hard for, but then when you finally got it, the feeling wasn't what you thought it would be. Maybe you looked around and thought, why doesn't this feel as fulfilling as I imagined? That's what I call the quiet knowing. It's the voice inside that just whispers, this isn't it. And that voice is not there to discourage you. It's not there to make you feel like you wasted your time. It's not there to embarrass you or make you feel guilty. This voice is literally there to guide you. It is your soul trying to get your attention. It's trying to nudge you towards alignment. But here's the problem. Instead of listening to it, most of us dismiss it. So we push harder and we think more ambition will fix what's missing. And again, the truth is ambition without alignment is a recipe for burnout. And many of us undermine the very vision we say we have, because the longer you ignore that quiet knowing, the louder it gets, until one day it's just going to force you to stop and pay attention. So here are some ways that we undermine the vision. Number one, over attachment to old identities. It is telling ourselves, I've invested way too much to walk away, whether it's the degree you earned or the career path you chose a decade ago or the title that you hold. We cling to these things because we are so afraid of what it means to let them go. How will people perceive me? Will people still respect me? Will people still see me? Will people still see me as successful? Will people still see me as someone that they want to be like? But here's the thing. The path that you're on was perfect for who you used to be. But your soul is calling you to something new. I just choose to believe that God wouldn't be calling me to something that would embarrass me. Maybe there will be different people who look up to you. Maybe you allowing yourself to evolve and liberating yourself from these old titles will give other people permission to liberate themselves. And therefore, the respect that you have comes from a different crowd of people, comes from a different group. But ultimately, it's the respect that you get to have for yourself when you're no longer betraying yourself. Because the longer that we stay attached to who we were, the harder it is to step into who we're becoming. So my question for you is, what am I willing to release to step into the future I desire? You always hear me talk about, what am I willing to lose? Now, being willing to lose doesn't mean that you will lose. Doesn't mean that you want to lose. Doesn't mean that you're not willing to work things out, find a way. But the willingness to lose is what allows us to be radically honest. Some of us don't even know why we're so attached to the old identity. You haven't even listed out that you're afraid that people won't respect you. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something for you to be aware of. Because releasing this does not mean you've wasted time. It means that you are making space for what is next and best for you in this season. You are getting in alignment for the person you are becoming. And that is to be applauded. And if you can't depend on the outside world to applaud you, then you have to get used to clapping for yourself. Every time I make a choice that I know is 1000% in alignment for me and authentic to who I am, well before I share it on this podcast, or I share in the Redefining Wealth app with clients, or I share with any girlfriends, I am clapping for myself in my prayer room. I am journaling to God from my authentic self. Like, I did that. I am proud of myself. You have to clap for yourself until other people learn to clap for you. I remember when I joined the Steve Harvey show and I started to do interviews all over the place. And a couple times interviewers will ask me, did Steve Harvey crown me America's Money Maven? And I said, no, I crown myself America's Money Maven. I learned to say it until other people said it. I called myself America's Money Maven until other people said it. I had to believe it first. I had to release old identities and over-attachment to anything else. And then when it was time to move on from that identity, again, I had built up so much notoriety, so much credibility as America's Money Maven. And then some years back, it just did not feel aligned. And I had to take myself through this exact same process. Do not keep pushing in the name of ambition when your soul is begging to get your attention. And my soul was saying, this does not align with where you are going. Now, where I was going, how Redefining Wealth would evolve, I had no idea. But my first thing was to release the attachment to what I thought other people loved about me, knew about me, applauded, all those things. I had to release that. Number 2, we have to be willing to look at these default thinking patterns. In the Institute for Redefining Wealth, I take our community every month through authentic alignment tools. And this is about, how do we ask better questions? How do we ask better questions of ourselves, of our lives? How do we interrogate ourselves to get to the root of what we truly want? This is the crux of being in alignment. And a default thinking pattern that I have seen in myself as well as my clients is, when our soul is calling us to do something different, our default thinking goes, but this is how I've always won. This is how I've always pushed through. This is how I've always gotten to the outcome that I want. How many times have you thought, this is just the way things are? Or maybe you've caught yourself saying, this is how it's always been done, so this is how I have to do it. Default thinking will keep you on autopilot. It'll keep you repeating the same patterns, even when they no longer serve you. And for many of us who are go-getters, high achievers, The way that we learn to operate in life and business is to do the most. Oftentimes we do too much. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take work to be successful. Obviously, it takes work to be successful. But the way that we show up for the work is what your soul may be questioning in this season. And that's why you feel like something is off. The way you have powered through and pushed through for so long does not feel good. And I'm not saying that you don't still get the result you're looking for. It's the how do you get there? How do you still achieve X without Y? How do you still get to the end result without burning yourself out, without abandoning your family, without betraying what your soul is saying to you in this season? Why is it so hard for us to accept that there are other ways to win? This is how I've always won is going to be the death of many of our visions. Because for some of us, the vision that you have now requires you to show up softer. It requires you to show up more rested. It requires you to show up with more joy. It requires you to show up with more peace. It just requires you to show up kinder. And this is how I've always won may have worked when you were first building your career, working your way up the corporate ladder, or starting that business. And kudos to you. Kudos to me. That was great. Wonderful. We got some measure of success, excited for all of us. But now, what is your soul saying? We have to ask better questions. How do I accomplish this task with more ease? How do I simplify some of these things if that's what your soul is aligning you to? Staying on default and saying, well, this is how it's always been done is going to take us out.
Hey, Purpose Chaser. Now, you know I'm all about staying aligned with my fit pillar, but as a business entrepreneur and speaker, always on the go, staying consistent with my workouts used to be a struggle. That's why I love the Future app. It's a game changer for anyone with a hectic schedule who still wants to prioritize their fitness. With Future, I get a personal trainer. Shout out to my amazing coach, Sydney, who creates workouts tailored specifically to me. So whether I'm at my home gym, in a hotel, or traveling, I can fit in a quick session or a full workout that fits my schedule. And the best part, Sydney keeps me accountable by checking in, adjusting my plan, and celebrating my progress. If you are someone who needs flexibility but doesn't want to compromise on results, Future is for you. Plus, they've got everything from strength training to cardio and flexibility, all designed to help you crush your fit pillar goals. If you're ready to level up your workouts, head to patricewashington.com/future to get started. That's patricewashington.com/future. And let's stay fit together, no matter where life takes us.
And I would say the last thing is simply confusing ambition with alignment. So many of us have just bought into the idea that if we just work harder, everything will fall into place. But effort without alignment is just motion. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's progress. Let me say that again. Effort without alignment is just motion. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's progress. So you can hustle your way into a new opportunity. But if it's not aligned with your ultimate vision and your values, you will still end up feeling empty. You can hustle your way into building a big team. But then when you think about the vision that you said for your family, the vision that you said you had for your family, for how you wanted to live in a certain season, does the pushing and being so ambitious towards that? Like, why can't we just turn our ambition towards doing things in a more aligned way? There is nothing wrong with ambition. I'm just saying, let's put the ambition in the direction of what we truly want instead of what we think we're supposed to do or how we think others perceive us or how we think it should be. We have to stop shooting on ourselves. Well, I should do it this way. It should look this way. That's not true. And the reworking and unlearning of all of this is like my life's journey right now. I believe what many of us are being pulled into is the alignment awakening. This is like the first phase of redefining wealth is you have to awaken. You have to arise from slumber and acknowledge that something is off. And there just comes a moment when you have to decide to choose yourself. You choose your vision, your values, and your truth. And I will tell you that when you choose you, everything changes. That's the moment when you stop just succeeding and you can actually start living and thriving. The degrees, the titles, the hustle, they may have gotten us here, but they're not going to take us there. Whatever you define as your promised land, however you envision your life truly looking, the love, the peace, the joy, the happiness, it's not about abandoning ambition. This is about elevating it so that when you pair ambition with genuine alignment, you can step into a flow so that your success actually feels good. Because what good is it for the success to look good to other people, to look good on the outside, but not feel good on the inside? And I'm only saying this to the people where you know it, you feel it. You can drop a comment or you can reach out to me in the Redefining Wealth app. This may not be for everyone, but there are some of you where you have used ambition to plow through life and you are tired. You are tired. And I just stopped by today to tell you that some things ambition can't fix. Ambition without alignment is terrible. It will only take you so far. And for most of us, it takes us to a life of misery. Let's talk about some quick shifts to realign with vision, right? To just get you back in alignment or in alignment for the first time with what you genuinely desire in this season. It's so important to be still, pause and reflect. Take a moment to get quiet. I love journaling. Maybe you like going for walks, whatever you can do to be still, and ask yourself, is this my truth? Is the path that I keep trying to plow down my truth, or is this someone else's expectation? And if it is someone else's expectation, why am I more concerned about disappointing them than I am about disappointing myself and my soul? What is that about? Number 2, as a quick shift, check in with your ignited, aligned vision often. Schedule time every week. I keep my vision for this year up on a board in my office. I have a printed copy of it in my planner that I take everywhere. And it gives me that reminder. It provides a reminder to say, hey, are your actions matching your values? Are what you're doing every day actually moving you towards the life you say you want? Because if your vision speaks of peace and you keep letting your calendar be chaotic, there's a disconnect. That's not aligned for you. You are filling your calendar from the lens of, oh, I'm such an ambitious woman, as opposed to I'm an aligned woman. I am an aligned woman in this season. And I don't want my calendar full of all business activities all the time. And here's a third shift you can consider: thinking partners. Don't go at it alone. You need to join spaces where alignment and authenticity are prioritized. This is why Mastery and Momentum exists. We just kicked off our 2025 cohort. I still feel like there's 2 people left that will really make it well-rounded. We have 10 phenomenal business leaders. We have doctors, lawyers, corporate executives, nonprofit leaders, real estate, veterans. It's such a beautiful group. It's so well-rounded. And I feel like there's 2 more. So I'm going to drop the link to the application with this episode in the show notes, because my heart still just feels like there's 2 women left that will really add great value and also be able to receive value. But this is a space where ambition meets alignment. Very ambitious women, but we're building our businesses around our lives, around these really great work that we want to do, but we're not putting our life second. No. Because accomplishment isn't enough if it cheats us out of authenticity. It's not enough. So you definitely want to be in spaces with people who reflect that back to you and hold you accountable for that, if that is something that you value. alignment and authenticity have to be prioritized. And even if it's not mastery and momentum, pillar mastery is a wonderful opportunity to go through all 6 pillars, remove the clutter, and get radically honest about what's working, what's not, so that all of your endeavors are truly aligned with what you say you desire. The point of the 6 pillars of wealth are to protect the vision. And it is beautiful to have those pillars, those categories, those subsections of life so that you can look at them objectively, one by one, and be honest with yourself about what's off. And the more you do that pillar by pillar, the more the picture gets clear, the more your path to the picture gets clear, the more aligned you begin to feel because you are taking out all the fake stuff, the fraudulent stuff, the flimsy stuff, the definitions that other people gave you, the ideals that society put on you. Now you can get to what you really desire and what really matters to you. So to me, it doesn't matter what you choose, but get thinking partners, get in community, curate a space where you can be radically honest and say that you don't align with some things anymore, and get the tools and resources to stick to what does feel aligned, to figure it out for you and then stick to it.
Are you ready to redefine wealth and transform your life? Join the Institute for Redefining Wealth. It's a 12-month journey to financial wellness using our unique 6-pillar framework. We'll be your accountability partner, offering clear success paths, resources, and the motivation you need to stay on track with your professional and financial goals. So act now to connect with purpose chasers from around the world as we all level up pillar by pillar to achieve the lives we desire. Our Getting Started section is the system I've used personally to see huge visions come to pass over and over again. It is the foundation for how you leverage the pillars to support what you say you want to create in and for your life. And then you'll use pillar foundations. This is where the juice is. This is how you'll begin your 30-day authentic alignment audit. It'll help you identify areas of your life that may be out of sync with your goals. As a member, you'll gain access to in-depth training modules, categorized podcast selections, monthly themes, and challenges with exciting cash and prize giveaways, plus exclusive bonus access and sneak peeks to more resources that will help you along your journey to redefining wealth. For more details, visit redefiningwealth.institute. That's redefiningwealth.institute to take your first step towards a transformed life today. I will see you in the Institute.
So listen, we are in a new era, and I believe that this era is just calling us to stop being human doings that only move to the next level with brute force and, oh, my ambition is going to just take me all the way there by any means necessary. We're being called into alignment, into truly human beings. Who do I get to be? How do I get to be? Why do I get to be? And ambition is not going to fix that quiet knowing, that still small voice that's like, it's time to do something different. You can't outwork it. You can't outperform it. You can't outdo it. It's time to get open, ask ourselves better questions, acknowledge the quiet knowing, release the old identities, not be someone who's like, well, this is how I've always won. Yeah, but winning could look different for you in this season. Strength can look different for you in this season. Ambition can look different for you in this season. And if you ever need support, I'm always a DM or a comment away. So just let me know. That's it for me today. Next week, I will be sharing stories of our Pillar Mastery graduates. The doors are opening to our new self-paced version of Pillar Mastery. I am so excited. This is a part of me getting in alignment with what I see for this season. And I'm really excited about making Pillar Mastery even more accessible, self-paced, and get this, lifetime access. So if you are interested in learning more, go to pillarmastery.com. It is a great first step to truly get off the hustle, wheel, the hamster wheel of just ambition, and leverage that ambition to get into more alignment. Partner those two, and Pillar Mastery is a great way to do that. So check out pillarmastery.com And that's it for me. Until next week, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll talk to you later.